of Princeton. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, the person that dealt the drugs out was Louis, the Princeton's father. Okay, good morning. Sorry, it's just like, oh, okay, here we go again. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and being a member. This is members only content. We just have a lot to talk about today. Okay, first of all, $9 a ticket to see Nick Carter. Okay, so I always encourage people to write books, but people will be surprised that when you write a book, the royalties, by the time you get your share of the royalties, there isn't very much, okay? So if I sell a $9 ebook, I probably get 50 cents at best, probably closer to 21 cents, okay? If I sell a hardcover, I might make a couple of dollars. So if he's selling tickets for $9 at venues where there's only 300 or 400 people, how much of that money, and it was $9 before fees, how much of that money do you think he's taking home to his family? 300-400 bucks? That's what I was trying to tell you. If he can even get a venue, because they're canceling them. They advertise that he's got concerts, but then they don't say that they've been canceled. You have to look for the ones that have been canceled. And then let's just say he does get to perform at the Walt Disney Theater, because that's his family, right? How much is he taking home? 300-400 bucks? Wasn't even worth going there, okay? Because he lives in Las Vegas. So that's the price of an airplane ticket. He's never going to be able to afford the legal fees. Again, his lawyer probably charges him $500-600 an hour, and that's not including the paralegal and all the other fees that go along with it, okay? So really, when you're involved in a lawsuit, it's more like $2,500 an hour is what you have to come up with in order to fight those legal fees. And he's never going to be able to survive that, okay? So Aaron's got to be rolling around right now laughing because it's like, how do you like it now? Hashtag karma. He'll never be able to survive the legal fees from those lawsuits. Even if the girls don't get anything, that's going to put a serious dent in his savings. Now, Melanie is suing the doctors and she's suing Walgreens on Prince's behalf. Okay, well, that's not even his son. So let's look at let's look at the suspects, okay? Louis, still can't find him, still don't hear about him. He just went crickets, which means he's either locked up or lawyered up, okay? So allegedly he was seen 10 days ago in Dallas, or was it almost 2 weeks ago now in Dallas, but we don't have that confirmed. And even so, he's not talking. So his business was basically shut down because he relied on Instagram. Although his profile is still up, he's not posting anything, which means that he was told to shut his mouth. Because after all, it was his bottle, prescription bottle that was found at the scene. So why aren't you suing Louis? It's his pills that were found at the scene. They weren't the prescriptions to Aaron. So what's this play with Walgreens? I'm wondering, since Louis was the one that provided the drugs, he should be the one that should be prosecuted for drug trafficking. Okay, I took a bunch of notes here. What's going to happen next? Is she going to say, well, I don't want to fight with the family and just give Aaron's estate to the mom? Because that big money, I keep trying to tell you, you can call it the elite, you can call it the Illuminati. When you have generational wealth like the Sony company does and like Disney does, they're not going to give it to that girl. Even if they used Melanie, okay, to kill off Aaron, they're not going to hand it over to her because they know that she cannot provide a DNA test saying that that was Aaron's kid, because it wasn't. And you can't just show up at probate court and say, that's the father of my child. It doesn't work like that. They rely on DNA samples. So what is she going to say now? Oh, I didn't want to fight over the $550,000. I'm just going to let the mom have it or the sisters have it, because they don't like to have Jane. They don't let Jane have anything. So they're not going to give that money to her. So now what is she doing? She's scrambling. Well, let's see if I can get Walgreens to pay. Well, here's the interesting thing about Walgreens, and I've already emailed their legal team. The problem is back in February when they were attacking me for covering Aaron's story, remember when the grandfather went on hospice because he was dying, even though he was seen at a peanut festival last month? That's how sick he is. He was able to go to a festival with his wife. Okay, so back in February, they broke into my Walgreens prescriptions and posted them all over Twitter, which meant that I had to file a report with the police department. I had to work with Walgreens and I had to work with the FBI because that was a privacy concern, okay? And so we know that they have somebody at Walgreens that has access to privy information. Now, what I was told is it could have been a pharmacy tech or anybody that worked in the pharmacy that looked up my profile that got my prescriptions. Okay? And Walgreens allows anybody to pick up prescriptions as long as you have their phone number, their name and their date of birth, because I pick up prescriptions for people that are elderly, or one of my friends, not all the time, but one of my friends who was elderly asked me to go and pick up her prescription because she couldn't drive to go get it, and all I needed was her birth date. And so that's a privacy concern when it comes to Walgreens. Anybody can just hack into your file. There's no two-step verification. And when you're talking about a company as big as Walgreens and privacy concerns, they just want to brush it up under the rug because that would cost their company money to reprogram all of the software and retrain all of the employees to now have a second step verification, which should be there because that's a privacy concern. Your health is your business and nobody else's, okay? When they went into my prescriptions, they could see what prescription I was taking, and then they knew what ailments I had. That's why I stopped using Walgreens, because I knew that the other side had somebody that was in their camp that worked at Walgreens, okay? So that's a concern. So right away this morning, I did email Walgreens and let them know that, remember this case? I told you it wasn't over. Also, I noticed that there was more information that was provided by the UK reporter. And again, it's always TMZ that has their finger in the pie. Okay, and TMZ was owned by Sony and now it's owned by Warner Brothers, but Sony and Warner Brothers are siblings, all under the Disney umbrella. That big umbrella, the big umbrella that Louis' company is called Big Umbrella. Yeah, there's a big umbrella. It's called Disney. But Disney went woke and then they went broke. So the United States media, they have it cornered because it's their family. Disney owns 2/3 of the entertainment industry, which includes parts of the media. That's why it's like you got to be careful where you're getting your sources from, because they're going to beat you to it all every single time because they own that media and that's what they're feeding the people. So why is Melanie suing the doctors? Isn't she getting enough money from this estate? When you think in terms of Aaron's family, you have to think the elite because that's what he was a part of, okay? And they're not going to give that money to Melanie, okay? But they'll use her every which way that they can, and they're using that kid too. They're using Aaron's name to extort money off of it, okay? So they tried to do that with Howard Stern. Remember Anna Nicole, where they tried to sue Howard, and they sued the doctors for giving the prescriptions to Anna, okay, because they were getting them filled under Howard's name. That's how I got Britney Spears' dad's lawyer, was through Howard Stern. Howard K. Stern, Anna Nicole's. They had a commitment ceremony in the Bahamas, so it wasn't a legal marriage. but they had a commitment ceremony before Anna died. And after Anna died, they tried to sue him and the doctors that prescribed Anna those medications. That's why that documentary that came out on Netflix about Anna and the doctors and everything, but we know what happened to Anna. They poisoned Anna when they gave her that MLK Ultra drug like they give the other celebrities to make them loop-de-loop like Wendy Williams and also Britney Spears. So the person that represented Howard is an attorney by the name of Vivian Thoreen that works at Holland and Knight. And she was my attorney on my case for a very brief time until I found out that she was Jamie, Brittany's dad's lawyer, and what was going on with Brittany, and I fired her. So it's a very small world. I think that you're learning as you're following me, and thank you again for becoming a member. It's a very, very small world. And I told you in the very beginning of Aaron's book that 92% of the money supply is circulated by 8% of the population, because after $100,000, now you're into the elite. If you make $100,000 or more a year, you're part of the elite, okay? Most people don't. 92% of the people don't make that kind of money. So what they do is they outmuscle everybody else by feeding them this false narrative. So Melanie is a part of, and in my opinion, okay, this is a organized crime ring, okay? You know, by the whole Bobby Scally thing, that Melanie was in Florida that weekend, okay? The guy that got drugged and they stole his watches. But they got to him too because they made him take down his posts off of YouTube. But I still have them recorded and they're in Aaron's playlist. So what are they going to say now? She's not getting money from the estate, because if she did, why would she be suing Walgreens? But she's a pig, remember? So, but actually she's a hog, because pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. So when she was with Aaron, you know, and he was taking care of her needs, that was a pig getting fat. And then after they wanted to kill Aaron to take away his legacy, that's a hog and she's getting slaughtered. She didn't get to keep his car. She doesn't get to keep this and she doesn't get to keep that. And the sheriff who submitted the fake autopsy reports is probably under scrutiny and is probably like, well, you could sue Walgreens or you could sue the doctors. But how is that going to work now when that's not even his son? They're just trying to deflect. And this is why I said that ATM Richie will die in jail and will never make it to his court date, because they were always planning on killing him. After he said that he confessed to killing Aaron Carter because he was the person that delivered the lethal dose, okay? They're just going to kill him because they're not going to give him an opportunity to speak, okay? They don't even tell you that the person that confessed to killing Aaron Carter is in jail, okay? And his court date's in July. But is ATM Richie going to make it to July? I doubt it. They threw him in on a suicide watch, and he's probably going to end up, that's the way he's going to die, is they're going to say that he committed suicide, when really they just don't leave witnesses behind now, do they? The only thing that you can do to help with justice for Aaron is continue to spread the word to people about the truth. And once again, I mean, I don't think that Melanie has the resources to go ahead and provide for a lawyer and a lawsuit and all those other things. So is she trying to save Louis, Prince's dad, from the fallout? Nobody can find Prince's dad. I mean, allegedly he was cited, but how long is he going to be out running around before he's locked up for drug trafficking? It's not going to be very long. I mean, as you can see from Check the Star, somebody come and pick me up. Check the Star, if you were such a baller and you were so rolling, why can't you just take care of an Uber yourself? But no, you need members of the Joker gang to come and get you. Because why? Because you're a pact. Okay, you're a pact and you're going to stick together on that low level vibration. Okay. And so I don't think it's going to work. Her Suing Walgreens. And I did email the legal department today just to let them know, remember me from earlier this year with all the issues that we had to deal with the FBI. And they did have to deal with the FBI when it came to me because I filed a full-blown FBI report with Walgreens, okay? Because our system, our privacy system's been compromised at Walgreens when you go and you could just pick up prescriptions for anybody. But with Melanie suing Walgreens, I just think it's a last ditch effort to try to, she's a rat. And what happens to a rat when they're in a corner? They chew a hole through the corner, okay? She's a rat. That's it. They're just using her and that kid to make money off of Aaron's death. That's why they accused me of making money off of Aaron's death, because I did the investigative reporting on his death. And they know that what I wrote in that book is true. War of Angels, a documentary on the death of Aaron Carter. So I went ahead and I did my part this morning, hashtag justice for Aaron, okay, and let him know, that's not going to fly. Here's a copy of my book so you can sit there and read it. Because I have a file over at Walgreens because they have connections. These people have connections everywhere. It's just a way for them to extort money out of the system. I just don't see that Sony's going to give Melanie any money. I don't think that I think that their plan of trying to use Prance through the probate case has been like not going to happen, okay? And they're just going to keep it all very quiet because they're still trying to save Nick Carter with the Backstreet Boys, but they're not saving him now, are they? He's going to sink all the way to the bottom. It's always the legal fees that sink people. So let me know what your thoughts are. Drop them in the comments and we'll have a discussion. Again, thank you so much for being a member and for being here. I look forward to following this story and seeing where it goes. Nowhere. Love you all. Happy eclipse season.